You call this podcast 3 Shades of Grey. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
Check,
are we going?
Check
okay.
1, 2. Oh, I can do that again. Hello everyone.
Hello.
How are you? Trying not to spike
Fine.
that volume.
Oh.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was the royal we. How are you? The royal you?
I'll get more answers out of you than I will there.
Probably, yes. Good. Fine. Thanks. Despite my work rant earlier.
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, we'll cut that in later. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably singular recording that.
That's gold. Yeah. So we are here on January the 30th.
You are so good at remembering. I even have a computer and I still don't know what the day is.
That's okay.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
It is a Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday.
And we're gonna kick things off. I've got some more recent stuff. I know there's a lot of news of the last couple of weeks coming out of the U.S. I should say, and yes, we are a Canadian podcast. We're going to talk about the U.S. right off the bat.
My name is Brad.
My name is Jeff.
We rarely introduce ourselves.
We're not very good at podcasting or video.
Yeah,
as you can see. But the weather right now is frightful.
It is.
Right? It is crazy. It was minus 40 this morning in Winnipeg. 50 with the wind chill factor, as they say.
Why don't they just say 50? Can we just get rid of that at this point? But anyway, continue.
Minus 50?
Well, like if it's minus 50, they're like with the wind chill. This is another comedian has a bit about this. I'm not stealing this, but like in all seriousness,
because the wind chill factor is a feeling of the wind chill. So it's not like a.
So is it actually 50 degrees or not? Minus 50 rather?
No, it feels like minus 50.
Well, you could say that's subjective.
A pole.
Okay.
If you took a thermometer and measured a pole, a light pole, the thermometer would go to minus 40.
Okay.
But if you were a human, and I stuck a thing to your face, it'd say minus 40. You go, no, it's got to be at least minus 50.
So it's totally arbitrary. It's
kind
like
of,
the wind chill. So somebody just sticks their hand out. They're like, no way, that's like minus 75.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's the system? This is the system we're using?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
That's what the wind chill factor is. It's the wind chill, you need to factor in to that number.
Oh, perfect.
Feels like 50.
All right. I'm going to come up with my own factor for like when I get up in the morning, like my happiness factor is like, I'm a 3, but my happiness factor is like a minus 5.
But it feels like a minus 5 with this bullshit about.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
anyway, sorry.
Believe it or not, due to the cold that's happening right now,
the
polar vortex, the United States Postal Service is suspending mail service in Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri.
Wow.
The United States Postal Service.
Yeah. I know, that's a big thing.
Isn't not sleet, nor snow, nor blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that incredible?
They're going to have to change their slogan.
Maybe it's childish, but I always just have this, firemen. Like firemen are heroes. Police are here. Well, it's gotten a little bit risque.
That's
the last couple of decades. But post office work, and you just always think, no matter what, they're trudging through the snow.
We'll do it.
And here we go. He's got a nippy bit. We're Canadian, so a nippy bit to us, But in Kansas, they're nope, we're not going out anymore. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they're gonna have to change their slogan.
A little bit of sleet.
Yeah.
Just enough snow.
Wind chill more than minus 15. No go.
And it's all about opinions about what the wind chill feels like. So the deep freeze is in fact impacting all the way down that far to Kansas. That's pretty far down south.
That's deep.
That is the deep south. Almost at least 8 deaths have been linked to the extremely cold weather down there.
Wow. That's the ones I know about.
That you know of now that you're watching this podcast. More than 1,600 flights have been canceled at airports in Chicago.
Jeez.
They're just going crazy down there. Obviously, the airport, the ice gets on the wings and stuff. So
you have to de-ice the wings.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was minus 33 in Winnipeg when I was writing this, minus 40 this morning at 7 a.m. And Windsor, Ontario was having its coldest January 30th today on record with a low of minus 21.7 degrees Celsius. The record before that was minus 20.6, so about 1 degree's difference back in 1951.
Wow.
Do you know what's going on with the polar vortex?
I hear it's coming.
It's here.
It's here.
It's here.
Oh,
it's happening right now. That's what this nonsense is.
Okay.
So the bitter cold is a result of a split in the polar vortex, basically at the top of the North Pole. It's just constantly whirling around.
Like an atom. Splitting an atom. Okay.
No.
No?
It's
Well,
not
you
like
get an incredible amount of energy when you split an atom. So when you split a vortex,
you
I'm
get
sure.
an atomic explosion.
Right, that's
yes.
a lot of energy.
So when you split a vortex, you do kind of get a lot of energy.
That's right. That's the atomic factor of like plus 35.
But it feels like
A 55, yeah.
yeah, that's right. Which allows the temperature to just plunge and goes from a nice, clean, neat whirlpool of cold up there, and it just kind of goes. And once it gets trapped in that new pattern, it just kind of stays there. So this isn't going to go away quickly, but it's a sudden warming that happened far above the North Pole. So the exact write-up here is, a blast of warm air that was misplaced from the Moroccan heat wave last month. Morocco, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I like a blast of heat misplaced. Like there's somebody else. Oh no, that's not right.
Where's my heat?
Yeah.
So this happened last month, and it made the normally super chilly air above North Pole rapidly increase in speed. So that split the polar vortex into pieces, which then started to wander around. So now they're in a new pattern, and rather than a nice little always up at the top of the world kind of thing, now it's just all wavy and going all over the place. But once those currents start going, they kind of get caught up in themselves and they kind of stick around. So it's not like a ooh and then back to normal.
Oh, okay.
That's
so
my scientific.
That's very good. It's like one of those waving guys, and then but then they get their arm caught in one of the other waving guys,
and then another waving guy comes.
This weather report brought to you by.
Yes, now you understand.
CaNews.
So a quick point that I saw on the news report that I want to reiterate myself is that if it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pet. So those of you keeping your pets outside, get them in the house. Sacks of shit that keep your pets outside.
Wow.
What's going on, Brad?
What do we do about the sacks of shit? Should we keep them outside?
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
But they're great for burning.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Frozen bags of poop?
Any poop, yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Burn shit, yeah.
I guess when
It does not smell good, so
if it's
don't
minus
do it
19. Yeah.
It feels like minus 22.
Okay. So, Jeff, I think what we're all wondering, for those who aren't currently being subjected to minus 20.
Here in Vancouver, BC, we're
How
A-okay.
does this affect us?
It doesn't.
Okay, but it's coming. They said that here in Vancouver and in warmer parts of the country, that the polar vortex that has split, now that I've listened to you, is actually going to be making its way to other parts of the country. So stay tuned and be warned.
It will.
Yeah, it's coming for you.
We're a bit protected because we're between the ocean and the mountains.
Yes.
Here, we're all cuddled, all cozy in here.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Just snuggle up against the mountains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, yeah, this is...
How are you switching papers? You haven't done anything
I don't know.
yet.
I was looking for a good segue, but I just don't know...
Do you have anything about weather or America?
You think, oh yeah, okay, kind of. So, you were talking about the postal workers not going to work because it's too cold.
Yes.
Well, the U.S. has finally ended its long shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
So they just get back to work and then like, nope, take the day off.
You guys are right. So, there was no money for the wall after that. All his threats, of course we're talking about President Donald Trump.
I haven't heard what's been happening.
Yes, he tweeted... just now, so yeah, he didn't get his money for the wall, which is fine. He claims that if the wall money isn't allocated soon, that he is going to in fact declare a state of emergency, and then he can of course pull the funds directly out of the Pentagon.
But now they're limiting his power of military use.
Oh, are they?
They're passing, as of today, they're passing bills, legislation to limit his power of military use.
Oh, he won't read the bill anyway, so he'll just sign. Look, I'm signing a really great bill. Look at this.
Just do it anyway.
Look at what I just signed. Wait a second.
Where's the signature?
Doesn't he hold the pen like this?
Probably.
Yeah. So that's it. The only good news that I heard out of the States in the last couple of days, sorry, that's not true at all. I heard lots of good news. But this was wonderful news.
Weird segue.
Yeah. Have you heard the Netflix special Get Me Roger Stone?
I started watching it.
Yeah.
I'm only 10 minutes in. I got distracted.
Spoiler alert, he gets arrested at the end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. As like 3 days ago, he actually got arrested.
Not in the actual documentary.
No. At the end of the documentary, I
haven't finished it yet.
he's a dick. So.
But at the beginning, he was
Yeah,
sweet
yeah,
angel.
real nice guy. Anyway, we'll see what happens. He's pled not guilty to his charges of lying to lawmakers, witness tampering, and being a dick. Yeah. So, 3
On one
indictments
case
there.
of being a dick.
Yes.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty.
Not guilty, fuckface.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of that? Anyway, but that's all I had about that. Hey, the Junos are happening. I'm just gonna.
I'm so glad you said nose.
Nose? What?
That's it. The Jew nose are happening.
Dude, oh, jeez.
It's like, well, where are you going
the
now?
Jews, they're always happening. But so I'm not kind of hip to the vibe when it comes to new music.
Oh, come
so
on, Brad.
Jeff, let's do a little. I'm gonna read you some names here. Here's the nominees, and of course the Junos, for those of you who are watching us or listening to us in the United States or another country, are our music awards here in Canada.
We have our own little cute shows too.
Yeah, right. You know, we get Sarah McLachlan, who you may know from her Dead Puppies commercial.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
arms of an angel. This
She will be
dog
hosting.
is probably dead by the time we
Right.
finish filming this commercial.
It's too late. But if you have any dignity,
Sympathy at all.
then you will send what money you have left.
I'd like to
Yeah.
donate to the dead dog.
So, Alicia Cara, Michael Bublé, Shawn Mendes, The Weeknd, and Tory Lanez. I hope I'm saying her name right, or his name right. I hope I'm saying Tory's name right. Those are Artist of the Year nominees. So, Alicia Cara, Michael Bublé, Shawn Mendes, The Weeknd, or Tory Lanez.
I've heard of Michael Bublé. I know some of his
Yes,
songs.
he's had some time in Vegas. Who
And
do
he's
you
from
like?
here. He's from Vancouver.
He is, yeah, he's a local guy.
I've heard of The Weeknd, just because it's an unusual name.
Yes.
Everybody else and The Weeknd. So I've never heard any
I hear
music.
about The Weeknd every week. It's
I've
just
never
like,
heard any music from any of the people
rest
you
of them?
talked about.
Okay.
I have no idea.
You'll probably
Michael
recognize
Bublé, he wins.
Okay. I think Alicia Cara is gonna get it.
Why? What has she done lately?
Well, I think she's also nominated for Breakout Artist.
Oh,
if
so she's new.
maybe not. She is newish, but again, I'm showing my ignorance when it comes to music here. Yeah, I know she's had a very big year. She's released a lot of material, and
It's only 4 weeks in.
a lot of chatter. Well, yeah, musical year. Yeah.
Oh, I see. What's the musical season?
What's
Brett?
like the musical season starts in January,
What's the
January
fiscal-
22nd.
What's the fiscal
Yeah,
movie?
it has an odd
Musical.
fiscal ending. It ends October 30th for some reason, just the day before
Really?
Halloween.
That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, and so anything you create in between October 30th and January.
Oh, I know why. Because Monster Mash just takes over the radio.
That's
on the
right.
31st.
Yeah, and then there's
no
Christmas
point.
carols. So why bother?
We got it.
Yeah,
we
that's
figured
right.
it out.
Yeah, there you go.
There's math to everything.
So there you go. We've called it Michael Bublé, Alicia Cara, and here's hoping Tori wins something so I can find out.
I'm not betting anything
What's a Tory?
on
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
We're not doing a bet.
Okay.
I don't have enough skin in the game to quite
That's fair.
follow all that nonsense.
That's fair.
Speaking of measles,
Yeah, I was.
the measles are back, Brad. Fucking measles.
I
are
didn't
back.
know they left.
So-
I'm glad they're doing okay.
Yeah, they were wiped out. So Clark County,
What?
Clark County, Washington. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's in here somewhere.
Wait
It's in
a
here
second.
somewhere. I'll get to it.
I don't think measles were wiped
Measles
out.
was eliminated in the United States in the year 2000, Bradley.
Really?
Yes. There was no measles in the U.S. There was
Okay.
gone, done.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
It may happen. It may have happened.
Yes.
So I don't have the whole thing here, but it
Sure.
may have happened short term. But because of the herd immunization mentality,
Right.
if at least I think like 95% or something of any given community. So basically, once that's spread out, as
Yeah.
long as 95% or so of the population is inoculated, is that the right word?
Yep.
Or is that too high a word?
No, I think
That
inoculated
sounds
is right.
too. That
Yep.
sounds too.
Yep.
Inoculated from some, but anyway, yeah. So if at least 95% or so is inoculated,
Yeah.
then it's enough that if
Immunized.
anybody gets it, it
Mm.
goes away after 4 days or something like that,
'Kay.
or 8 days or 10 days or something like that.
Sure.
Because I know you're contagious for 4 days when you start getting symptoms,
Yeah.
and then you're still contagious 4 days as it goes away.
Okay.
So whatever the period of time in there is.
Right.
So sorry, that's real generic. But
8.
so, frickin' measles is back.
I
just
feel
can't
an
believe it.
anti-vaxxers rant coming.
This is ridiculous. So Clark County, Washington, just below us, just south of us, where the first case was documented, has a recent case was documented, has a
Sure.
78% vaccination rate. So that's too low.
Right.
So there's too many people who weren't vaccinated. So that's below 95%, which is required for the herd immunity for a contagious virus.
Right.
Most patients are under 10
Well, that's
because of these stupid people
'cause
who
they
aren't
won't.
immunizing their children.
right. Yeah, because everybody who's over 10 had their shot. Because
Yeah.
really, the anti-vaccine movement started
With Jenny McCarthy.
about 10 years ago. Yeah,
Yes.
with Jenny McCarthy. Yeah, on now debunked science.
Yeah, one dose of the measles vaccine gives 93% lifelong immunity.
I'd take that. I'd roll
Right.
those dice. Yeah.
The vaccine has been a part of routine childhood shots for decades, and measles, here it is, measles was declared eliminated in the US in the year 2000, but it's still a big problem in other parts of the world, and travelers infected abroad can bring the virus back and spread it, causing periodic outbreaks.
Ah.
But due to the immunization of herd immunity,
Right.
it goes away and doesn't catch on to a lot of people. Plus, you isolate yourself, right?
Right.
If you are in one of these stupid regions where the stupid people aren't immunizing their stupid kids, early symptoms include a fever, runny nose, and malaise.
So if your 6-year-old is lying on the couch being
What do you
like,
want for dinner?
yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Mother, I couldn't possibly eat at a time like this.
Followed by a red rash that starts around the head and moves down the body.
Yeah. After the malaise.
Yes. Always after the malaise.
Right, yeah.
So if your child is in a malaise state,
glaze.
I better keep an eye on,
Yeah.
on his head. And here you are again. So patients are contagious 4 days before and 4 days after getting the rash.
Okay.
So immunize your kids and let's get this shit back on track.
Yeah, it's kind
Ignorance is not bliss.
it's kind of a smart thing, yeah.
the opposite of bliss.
You know what's funny is we know 2 anti-vaxxers.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
I'm not gonna tell you who
Oh
they are.
my god.
We're mutual friends.
I hope they watch this. Immunize your children if you have kids.
It's too late. But good stuff, everybody.
Man.
No, I can't segue from into that one. That's absolutely horrible. Okay, here's
Speaking of,
okay,
yeah. This is there, even worse.
So we're all a little concerned about Venezuela. Do you know what's going on in Venezuela?
I'm having trouble following. Overthrowing all this in the U.S. supporting and then withdrawing, and
yeah.
now they're taking all this gold and gonna ship it off to Russia.
Yep.
What the hell's going on?
I'm glad you asked, Jeff. I'm here to explain.
There's your segue.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Well, I think the fact of the matter is that Western governments have been propping up severely weak governments with large reserves for a long time. Probably, I would say, since the dawn of civilization. It's kind of what we do. A strong government sees an opportunity like, hey, if we get the right leader in here, we just keep them up, we get a good trade deal, we get our resources that we need, and, tickety-boo, everyone's happy.
And we don't
So-
look like we're spreading ourselves too thin.
That's right, yeah. So it's, having another government govern for you, but keeping essentially your policies that work well for your country in place and in tow.
Like
So-
what Russia is doing for America right now.
Yes. Yes. A lot of, yes. A real quick summarization of kind of the last 10 years and how Venezuela's gotten itself to the
Cool.
point
I'll
it's
just-
at.
I'm
Okay.
gonna-
Yeah, okay. So, so they were once one of the richest countries in South America because of their oil reserves. They have the largest known reserves in the world.
Really?
In the world.
Bigger
Yeah.
than Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia just revealed they have enough oil to last forever, literally forever.
Yeah. Venezuela.
Has more than that? We don't need
Apparently.
to drill oil anymore.
Yeah. Now this
Vaccinate your kids.
this is according to Vox. Okay, so I
Oh.
disclaim, whether you're pro-Vox or not, that this is where I'm getting
Vaccinate your kids.
Vaccinate. I'm just being totally transparent as where I get my sources from.
Fair.
So Hugo Chavez, which was he was a military leader, very popular amongst the poor in Venezuela, came to power, and his timing couldn't have been better because he promised a lot of social programs for those who were very poor. Venezuela was poor at the time. He's like, get me in. They got him in, and just as he got in, the oil boom hit. The price of oil spiked, and all of a sudden Venezuela had all this cash.
Mm-hmm.
So he started spending on social programs, everything, education, you name it. He was great, which was fine until he went up and died in 2014.
Not vaccinated.
Yeah, that's right, measles, yeah. And that's when Nicolas Maduro, who's the current president, also very much in air quotes. He took over. Chavez had personally picked Maduro to take over.
He's the
when
larger guy with the mustache.
That's Maduro.
Okay.
Yeah. Chavez also kind of a larger guy. So Maduro was like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's keep this train running. The problem is Maduro got in and the price of oil plummeted, but he didn't change his spending at all. He kept all these social programs going, and he artificially, this is the biggest thing, he artificially set the rate of currency at 10 to 1 US dollars. Now the name, I'm going to say a Balabear, I'm probably saying that right. That's their currency.
Build-A-Bear.
A Build-A-Bear, yes. So 10 Build-A-Bears equal $1. So that's what he had set it, but the problem is he didn't set that for the whole country. He set that for just the government and people who were in pretty with the government, like the military.
That's like how China has one time zone, like from one east to far east to far west to one time zone.
Massive country.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So now, what's the currency actually valued at? Take a stab.
More than 10 to 1.
Yeah.
50 to 1.
Oh yes, keep going.
100 to 1.
Keep going.
Really? 500 to 1?
Keep going.
Fuck off.
12,000 to 1.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
what the hell?
that's its actual rate. But the problem is Maduro is still allowing the military to trade on this 10 to 1 ratio. So their finances are horrible. They've got the worst inflation, of course, because their GDP, which means how much money that how much trade they do with other countries, has plummeted because essentially they're not making trades with anybody. They're just keeping everything in country. So of course, food's up, medicine's up, all these things. The country's incredibly unstable. So as of today, well, actually as of a couple days ago, Maduro fixed the last couple elections because he wants to stay president. He fired a bunch of cabinet ministers, a bunch of lawyers, essentially what our Supreme Court is. He fired a couple of Supreme Court judges so that he would stay in power. He recently fired the Attorney General. So
Trump's like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
He's firing all these people.
Interesting, yeah. So recently, I think it was about a week ago, Juan Guaido, I'm saying his name definitely wrong. So he said, you know what? He's the leader of the official opposition. He's like, I'm president now. Fuck all y'all. So now they're like, who's president? So the U.S. has recently supported Juan and said, we'll back you, of course, because you're
Juan.
more sensible. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
other guy.
Yeah, that's right. Juan is
New guy.
clean shaven. He's a young buck.
Okay, yeah.
Maduro's
Maduro,
Mr.
that's
Mustache.
the way,
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Maduro. So that's it. I've got lots more on this, but I don't want to be too long-winded. So that's kind of why it's in a crazy. So like people can't afford food. The weird thing is the military. This is the last thing. Military buys food in the foreign area. They bring it in. They buy it at a 10 to 1 ratio. They bring it in. They sell it on the black market to their own citizens.
Wow.
Good luck. Good luck, Venezuela.
I didn't
It's
know it was
sad.
that bad.
It's super sad. Yeah.
Nice summary,
There's
Brad.
no jokes in there. It's
There
just
shouldn't
that's
be.
what's happening.
There should, aside from the Build-A-Bear thing, there should not be any jokes in there at
Yeah,
all.
that's super shitty. So, there's a lot of public interest and a lot of public support for Juan, and hopefully he can make some changes.
Well, just a little bit east. Nope, northeast. Wait, north. Pretty
North.
much north.
Yeah,
in
straight
Havana, Cuba.
Oh, Havana, Cuba's over that way.
Yeah, but isn't it kind of like north of Venezuela?
Oh, I think so. I would say north.
Venezuela's in South America,
Northwest, yeah, northwest.
right? Okay, yeah, okay.
Cuba's over there.
I'm just trying to segue, Brad.
I like it.
Okay, so we've reported, I think, twice on this.
Yes.
So in
Oh yeah,
Havana,
I had
Cuba,
this story too. Yeah.
there is this sound weapon possibly happening.
Yeah.
That a lot of affiliates there have of global people, so Americans and U.S. Is it an embassy? I don't have that here.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so-
Delegates. Foreign delegates.
Foreign delegates here. I think it was up to 25 or 26 Americans at the time. This was when summer kind of started. And then it went down after they let everybody out and they investigated. So there's a bunch of reasons why they thought this was. You most recently reported on the article, which
That's right.
fair enough.
Yep.
Thought that it was the sounds seemed to be replicating that of a type of what was it? Bugs, grasshoppers.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's new.
Yeah. So no, you reported. I don't remember this because I was like,
I
what?
did do
That
that.
sounds stupid.
Yep.
And it turns out it might be because that was the most accepted thing for a short period of time.
Oh, okay.
For just a little bit, but it was never peer reviewed. No one took it seriously enough to test it out again.
Sure.
It was one group of scientists who listened to the sounds and were like, it has because it's going down at the end. It sounds a lot like grasshoppers or crickets or something. Sorry, I'm surprised I don't have it right here.
Yeah.
But it's been impacting all these people. So now it's back. It's consistent. I shouldn't say it's back, but it's
Yeah.
back in the news.
Yeah.
And now there was 21 affected patients back then. So there it is, crickets, that's what it was. So the AP recording also exhibits frequency decay in individual pulses. So the frequency goes down with
Yeah.
each individual pulse. And those scientists related that to the signature cricket sound production.
Geez, government officials hearing crickets? That's a surprise.
I'm
Good
gonna end it there.
night. Yeah.
I got one more thing after. You go ahead.
Do it, yeah. Oh, just gonna give a quick Huawei update.
Oh, please.
Yes, so Canada's fight with China, because, that's a fight we really wanted to take on.
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in the middle.
Totally in the middle, yeah. So the Huawei executive, her name is Meng Wazo. And it's not
Probably
French.
not
Wazo. So she has been not, I guess, charged, but the United States has laid out their indictments against her. So the charges that they're going to. So I don't know if they have to be in person to charge her.
I think they have to be handed to her or something
then
like
they
that.
charge
So
her?
they asked Canada to hold her.
Yeah.
Don't let her go to China. Canada was like, okay,
Yeah.
dude. And then America was like, oh yeah, that thing, we'll get back to you. And
Yeah.
we're just like,
Yeah.
what's going on with this?
Holding this-
Meanwhile, China's murdering all of our people, threatening
Yes.
to murder all of our people.
Yeah. So
So now she's going to be extradited, is that the right word, to the States apparently, finally?
Well, Canada has to look at the indictments that the U.S. has proposed, which they just did, and 13 different indictments.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
These are. Oh,
Each
dear.
one's worse than the last.
Oh my! 13 indictments, but with the wind chill, that's 22 indictments.
Socks and sandals.
She faces charges of bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit both bank fraud and wire fraud, which is the best. I know.
They're doubling down on
Yeah,
that.
stealing intellectual property.
Conspiracy to steal intellectual property.
Apparently, there's a video of them actually stuffing components into a bag, like employees of Huawei, like
Wouldn't be
trying to smuggle these things out of the country.
Oh yeah,
Right?
there was a whole bunch of stuff. I was listening to this on the radio. Yeah, there's some robot that I want to say Verizon or AT&T or somebody created that was going to be a new touchscreen type of device, and they actually it was like a little mini robot, and they literally stole the arm off this robot,
Right, yeah.
pocketed it for like hours or a day or something,
Yeah.
and then tried to bring it back.
Wow.
Yeah. They were literally told, employees were literally told
Yeah.
to go and find and steal trade secrets from our competitors.
Okay. Well,
That is your job.
there you go. That's why she's being charged, I suppose. I'm sure it's nothing to do with trade issues. I'm sure that is no way in factor. But anyway, that's just an update. So she appeared in BC court here, where it's a big thing here in Vancouver.
What,
Yeah.
BC court is a big thing in Vancouver?
Well,
is
no,
what you're saying?
just that she's here.
Oh,
It's all
okay.
the proceedings are happening here, and lots of people turned out. So
I thought you were
anyway.
like, the BC court may not sound very big to you, but it's pretty big deal.
It's provincial. Okay. So that's that. That's your
Nice.
Huawei update.
Awesome. A guy I work with has a Huawei phone.
You were telling me 5G.
Loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all make fun of him.
Well, apparently we're getting our 5G from the Dutch.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They're nice people.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've
Oh my God! Sorry. Can
No,
I
go
tell you
ahead.
this? I learned this in school the other day.
All right.
Why? Do you know why carrots are orange?
No.
Because of the Dutch. So they were so good at crossbreeding tulips, that was a big thing for them, that they actually crossbred the orange, because oranges naturally are like white, or I think there's some natural purple varieties, red, and they crossbred them to make them orange in honor of William the Orange, who was a big factor in them being emancipated from the Catholic Church.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that neat?
That's a neat
And
little
now,
tip.
like, when you think of a carrot, it's an orange. It's orange in color.
When I think of a carrot, I always think of an orange.
There you go.
Perfect.
I won't interrupt you.
Oh, please interrupt.
Okay.
This is a freewheeling podcast. You know what we didn't explain? I show up with stories, he shows up with stories. We don't know what we brought, and we talk.
Yeah.
So my last thing here is on fake news.
Oh, good.
Because so much has been going on, and I think it's up to us as individuals to kind of curtail it.
Yep.
There's only so much of these Facebook, and I mean, Facebook owns Instagram and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
They're merging the chat platforms this year or next year, I can't remember when. So really, when you think about it, we have zero control over so much of that stuff. What we can control is our perception of everything. So fake news is being shared more often by baby boomers and around that age group, so just that's an awareness as well. We still fall for it too, our age too, and younger. We're not young, by the way.
My
I
mom.
don't want to pretend I'm young.
My mom told me the other day, she's like, we have to watch out for China because they're building a space station on the other side of the moon. I was like, oh, Mom, you're cute.
They just got there. So fake news is a con, right? Think of Donald Trump talking. So fake news is a con that works by playing on our ignorance and bias to manipulate our emotions for a quick reaction that will bypass our more critical thinking. That work?
I love it.
The solution lies in 5 simple skills that everyone who has successfully resisted a con has learned to apply.
Oh.
I'm sure we've all, in some way, resisted, like, no, there's something wrong here. So I'm going to read you 5 things. Familiarization. That's the one thing. We need to be familiar with the territory we are in and the digital environment, we need to be familiar with the territory that we're in, and the digital environment is no different.
Okay.
So we need to think this the same way. When we're looking at a screen, we're literally entering that environment.
Number 2 is literacy.
That's
Weird.
right. It's really important. Don't just go by the picture. So unless we transform ourselves from visitors to digital natives, we shall always be outsiders. The easy mark, which is a con term to mean an idiot who will fall for whatever they're looking at or hearing. The easy mark, I don't know what you're doing, but I'll play along.
I'm pointing at myself.
Oh,
I'm
I
easy
see.
mark. Yeah.
The easy mark that it's, oh yeah. Hey, you looking for, what did she say? You looking for a party?
Oh, yeah. You looking? You looking?
You looking? That was funny. The easy mark that is easily distracted, yeah. Overwhelmed that gets conned, yeah.
That's me.
Familiarization, buddy.
Yeah.
Analysis is number 2. In the digital realm, everything is intentional and everyone has an agenda.
Yeah, I could totally that.
Everyone's out to get you.
Yeah.
We need to ask ourselves if we understand what that agenda is. If we don't understand it, then we cannot understand the intention of an action, like sharing a piece of information, and we should not therefore easily trust it or the person who shared it. Vaccinate your kids. Verification is number 3. Information is how we function. Unless we have a reliable means of verifying the source of information we come across, we should not be willing to believe it.
I like that
That's
one.
why stuff like Snopes exists.
Yeah, I like
But
it.
even Snopes isn't very well known because it's a debunking website, which once it trips up a few times, which it has, it's been wrong a few times,
Sure.
and all of a sudden the reputation's completely out the window.
Well, then you got to check that. I mean, you should always have, like, I don't know what the rule is, but I mean, like,
Well, it's verification is the rule.
well, but how many times do you verify? Do you verify once? Do you verify twice? Like, I think
at
for
least if you're
us,
thinking to verify,
Yeah.
that's a step 1.
I try and verify twice. Like, if I get a story from one source and it's not like a super reputable source, then I verify that twice more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to go to the actual source. It's like I was doing it earlier. It's the most dry, boring thing, but things that get ascended in actual law,
Yeah.
if you feed the actual legislation on it, that's
Yeah.
the best source to go to.
Yeah, there
it's
you
a
go.
dry read, but you are sure you're getting the right information.
Straight from the cockles of the horse's teeth.
I was wondering how long that was going to go for. The next thing is awareness. It's really hard to be aware of our own bias.
Okay.
After all, it is. I didn't write this, by the
No,
way,
no,
so
yeah, I'm with
the verbiage is not how I speak. But
Yeah.
so it's really hard to be aware of our own bias. After all, it is called bias for a reason.
Okay.
But unless we begin, what is that reason? I
I
need
don't-
to
yeah.
check that out. I need to verify. But unless we begin to examine our own blind spots and actively think about points of view we don't necessarily agree with, this is what people have trouble with. We will be locked to being blindsided forever. People just don't want to hear another point of view. Last thing is empathy. This is an emotion that allows us to experience a situation through the perception of another person. Not a lot of people know the definition of empathy, so I'm going to say it again.
It's a good thing to remind.
Empathy is an emotion that allows us to experience a situation through the perception of another person. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. That's empathy. As such, it broadens our mind and makes us aware of a much bigger picture than just what we can normally perceive ourselves. Developing it is a conscious decision that enhances our mental skill set. It's not easy to do. That's it.
That's it. That's wonderful.
I think those are, I saw those. I was like, 5 simple things. People like lists,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and the fake news is just everywhere, and some of it it's actually costing lives. Vaccinate your kids.
Verify. Jeff, now I'm torn. I don't know if I go into my last story. I was going to talk about Bruce MacArthur. Canada's newest serial killer, but I feel like we've only got a minute left. Like, I don't want to.
Give us the quick version.
He pled guilty to killing 8 fellas. What a dick.
What a dick. He's the
That's-
Roger Stone of Canada.
Yeah, that's what we should call this. Yeah, anyway, I'm glad he pled guilty. Let's not give him any more time. Let's talk about the Vatican real quick, because Jeff loves the Vatican. So,
Empathy.
surprise, surprise.
Empathy.
The Vatican, a senior Vatican official has resigned.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, because he apparently propositioned a nun.
Oh, wow. Well, at least.
Propositioned a nun. Don't you know the rules?
Well,
Like, he's in the Vatican. He knows what nuns are there for.
He thinks he knows what nuns are there for.
I guess so. Just like of all, it's like propositioning a police officer. It's almost as dumb.
What was he expecting? Was he
It's sex.
flirting
Yeah.
or propositioning?
No, he asked
Straight up.
money for sex.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
And apparently this is obviously
They have so much money.
it's a bigger issue. Yeah. So this guy I'll name Father Herman Geisler.
Geisler.
Geisler. Is that how you say that?
Sure.
Herman with too many N's.
Herman Geisler.
Geisler. Anyway,
What a
that's
dick.
that. Yeah, what a dick.
Man,
Those are
all
my
your stories
favorite.
are about dicks.
Oh yeah, it was like
Literally.
4 dicks.
We've never had so many dicks on this podcast before.
Anyway.
That's it for me.
Yeah, that's it for me too.
All right, Bradley. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and see you in 2 weeks, or whenever you're watching this, we'll see you around.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.